What's going on, guys? Jacob Ober here. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I would think a realistic goal for the Green Bay Packers in 2019 should be, and what they need to do to consider the 2019 season a success for the team and the franchise. So, coming into this year, the Packers are coming off of 2 straight seasons without the playoffs. The first year, of course, back in 2017, Brett Hundley started the majority of the games. Aaron Rodgers went out close to mid-season with a collarbone injury. And then this past year, the Packers really never seemed to figure it out. They were always just a little bit short. It always felt like they were going to put it together at some point, and they just never did. And they ended up fading down the stretch and finishing 6-9-1. So this year, the Packers kind of revamped a lot of things. They added a lot of new talent on offense and defense. They added a new offensive-minded head coach, Matt LaFleur, who's installing a new offensive system for the Green Bay Packers. And with this, there's a lot of change, and now there's some expectations this year for sure for the Packers to be competitive in ways that they were not in years prior, in the previous 2 years prior, I should say. But really, obviously, when you talk about goals for a football team, especially a team like the Green Bay Packers, who have been, at the pinnacle of success in the NFL for so long, the goal should always be to win a Super Bowl, and I don't disagree with that. And really, especially before the Packers kind of entered like a retooling phase, I've always considered a year that doesn't result in at least making it to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback a failure, because Aaron Rodgers is just such a unique talent, and for the Packers to have him and for the Packers to have the little amount of success that they have had with him, obviously winning a Super Bowl isn't tiny amount of success, but still, you feel like the Packers could have won more over the past decade or so with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So in the past, it's always been like, well, you've got Aaron Rodgers, so not winning the Super Bowl is kind of a failure. But coming into this year, coming off of 2 straight years without the postseason, the goal obviously should always be to get as far as you can, and the end result would be the Super Bowl. But I think that if the Packers don't win the Super Bowl this year, that doesn't necessarily mean that this season is a failure like it would be in seasons past. So what would consider this season a success? Well, the more and more I think about it, the Packers have kind of fallen off of of the NFL hierarchy. They were always like at the top there with the Patriots and the Steelers and the Seahawks and the Cowboys and all those like pinnacle franchises over the past few years. And then they just kind of fell off a cliff the past couple of years. They just never were able to figure it out. The 2017 year, we kind of gave them a pass because Rodgers wasn't at quarterback for a while, and Brett Hundley really was not all that great for the Packers at starting quarterback. But then last year happened, and we realized that the problems were deeper than just losing Aaron Rodgers. There was a lot of problems with the coaching staff. The team didn't really mesh too well together. They could never really put it all together and figure it out. They lost a lot of close football games that could have turned their season or swung momentum, but in the end, the Packers, they just had a lot of problems at the root of everything, and it really never materialized into anything good. So this year, the Packers need to focus on getting back to the top of the hierarchy. They need to focus on becoming a premier franchise again. They have to reestablish themselves as a team that is going to contend in the NFL. It's going to compete, and it's going to have success. And I think the only way for the Packers to do that is to, at the very minimum, make the playoffs. They have to make the playoffs this year if they want to be considered a legitimate threat in the NFL and reestablish themselves, especially in the NFC, which is featuring a lot of very competitive football teams this upcoming year. So it's not going to be easy for the Packers to make the postseason this year. I would expect them to, with all the new additions that they've made, and I've always believed that the root of the Packers' problem was the coaching, and now they seem to have that part hopefully nailed down, and everything else hopefully will follow suit. But at the same time, making the playoffs is never easy in the NFL, and that's why the Packers making it 8 straight seasons was so impressive from 2009 to 2017. That was something that really you just don't see too often in the NFL, other than teams like the Patriots, of course. But like I said, though, this year, for the Packers to consider it a success, I think they have to make the playoffs. They have to reestablish themselves. And obviously the goal with all of this is to eventually win another Super Bowl. Get Aaron Rodgers his second ring, maybe a third ring too. But the Packers, this year, they're not expected to go far, but they need to raise their expectations higher going into the next season, because I mean, if this year ends up no different from last year, then you're really going to be questioning a lot of things, and you're really going to be on edge about the Packers ever really competing again in the Aaron Rodgers era. Then you're starting to think about maybe moving on at some point from Aaron Rodgers, and you don't really want to think about that because, like, Aaron Rodgers has been, you know, the face of the franchise for so long, and, like, without him, where do the Packers go, you know? It's just so hard to, like, pinpoint something, and that's why the Packers have to focus on getting back to being a dominant team, a team that is going to catch the attention of others. And obviously with Aaron Rodgers, you're always going to be a team that's competitive at least, but in order to reestablish yourself in the top tier hierarchy of NFL teams, you have to at least make the playoffs this year, and that's what I think the Packers' goal should be in 2019. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. Do you agree with me that the goal this year should be to make the playoffs, or do you think the Packers' goal should be loftier or less expectations? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at OberSports41512, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Pack, go.